Welcome to the Texas Department of Transportation El Paso District's virtual public meeting with in-person option for the FM 76 North Loop Drive feasibility study. FM 76 is locally known as North Loop Drive, but we will refer to the study as FM 76 for the remainder of this presentation. Study limits are from FM 1281 or Horizon Boulevard in Socorro to SH 20 or Alameda Avenue in Fabens. This is a pre-recorded presentation. I'm TxDOT's Jennifer Wright, and I would like to welcome you and thank you for participating in this public meeting with the in-person option. This meeting presentation is available for online viewing starting on Tuesday, February 28, 2023 at 4 p.m. Mountain Time and will remain available for viewing with an opportunity to provide comments until Wednesday, March 15, 2023 at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time. The in-person public meeting will be held on Tuesday, February 28, 2023 from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Mountain Time at the Socorro City Hall Rio Vista Complex City Council Chambers, located at 860 Rio Vista Road, Socorro, Texas 79927. The comment process for the public meeting will be described near the end of this presentation. The meeting materials, project information, and details on the in-person option can also be found at www.txdot.gov by searching FM 76 North Loop Drive Feasibility Study. During the video, you may pause the presentation and navigate forward or backward using your video player. The feasibility study will conduct a multimodal corridor analysis to develop feasible mobility and safety improvements along the FM 76 corridor. As a result of the feasibility study, TxDOT will identify up to 3 improvement concepts that would minimize and/or avoid potential impacts to the human and natural environment where practicable. The feasibility study process typically takes 12 to 18 months and includes 4 phases. The first phase involved defining problems, identifying existing constraints, and analyzing existing and future traffic patterns along the study corridor. The second phase, which we are in now, involves developing potential preliminary options and identifying goals and objectives. In the third phase, we will conduct an alternatives analysis of the potential improvement options. The fourth and final phase includes identifying conceptual alternatives and developing a feasibility study report. The feasibility study is analyzing a segment of FM 76 that is 12.5 miles long. The FM 76 study corridor's existing roadway configuration begins with a 4-lane divided section extending from FM 1281 to Milo Drive in Socorro. This section has 11-foot wide paved shoulders and 5-foot wide sidewalks available on both sides of the corridor. The section of the study corridor between Milo Drive in Socorro and the town of Fabens generally consists of 2-lane undivided roadway with 3 to 4 foot wide paved shoulders. There are currently no sidewalks available on either side of the corridor. The study corridor ends with a 2-lane undivided section in the town of Fabens with 5-foot wide sidewalks along either side of Fabens Road leading up to SH 20. A safety analysis was performed for the feasibility study using crash data collected from TxDOT's Crash Rate Information System, or CRIS, for a 5-year period between 2015 and 2019. The crash data helps to identify overall crash patterns in the study corridor and flag areas where safety issues may exist. The bar graph on the left shows the times of day when crashes were reported most frequently. The graph shows that crashes occur most frequently in the morning between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. and in the afternoon between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. The pie chart on the right shows the severity of crashes in the corridor, which are classified as no apparent injury, possible injury, suspected minor injury, suspected serious injury, fatal injury, or unknown if that information was not recorded at the time of the crash. The analysis shows that 70.27% of crashes did not result in injuries, 18% resulted in possible injuries, 5.5% resulted in suspected minor injuries, 2.44% resulted in suspected serious injuries, and 0.2% resulted in a fatal injury. Injury information was unknown for 3.26% of the crashes. These maps show locations in the corridor where there are a higher number of crashes. These locations are called crash hotspots. Hotspots can be used to identify locations where potential safety improvements are needed within a study corridor, both at intersections and along roadway segments. The map on the left shows that there are 3 intersection crash hotspots within the corridor, which are located at the intersections of FM 76 with FM 1281, Bauman Road, and FM 1110, or Clint San Elizario. The map on the right shows that there are 5 segments with higher crash rates in the corridor, 3 of which are located between FM 1281 and FM 1110. The remaining 2 segment hotspots are located further south along the corridor, closer to Fabens. An analysis of 2019 traffic data was performed for the feasibility study to determine the existing corridor's capacity to meet traffic demand. The existing traffic conditions represent a typical workday when schools are in session. One of the indicators of roadway capacity is the level of service during peak hours, which tracks how efficiently traffic volume is moved through intersections during the hours of the day when traffic volume on roads is at its highest. Level of service A through C represents traffic ranging from free flow conditions to stable flow conditions, causing minor traffic flow disruptions. Level of service D represents unstable traffic flow conditions with significantly reduced travel speeds. Level of service E represents noticeable traffic congestion with travel demand approaching or at roadway capacity, and level of service F represents severe traffic congestion with travel demand exceeding roadway capacity, causing stop-and-go traffic flow conditions. The map on the left shows the level of service for stop sign controlled intersections during the peak morning hour, while the map on the right shows the level of service for traffic signal controlled intersections during the peak morning hour. It should be noted that stop controlled measures are on the crossroads and not located on FM 76. The maps show that all the study intersections are operating at a level of service D or better during the peak morning hour, except for the stop-controlled intersections of Bauman Road and Kellum Road with FM 76, which are performing with a level of service E and F respectively during the peak morning hour. The map on the left shows the level of service for stop sign controlled intersections during the peak afternoon hour, while the map on the right shows the level of service for traffic signal controlled intersections during the peak afternoon hour. The analysis of the existing intersections indicates that all the stop controlled study intersections are operating at a level of service D or better during the peak afternoon hour, while the signal controlled intersections are operating at a level of C or better. An analysis of existing traffic patterns and travel congestion was performed for the feasibility study using traffic data for school days in 2019. This data represents typical daily travel patterns along the FM 76 study corridor. The map on the left highlights that trips on FM 76 are made according to the following patterns. 18% of trips are going from or to north of FM 1281 Horizon Boulevard. 5% of trips originate from FM 1281. 3% of trips originate from Estate Road. 4% of trips going from or to Clint Cutoff Road. 57% of trips are going from or to FM 1110 Clint San Elizario. 31% of trips are going from or to the Fabens area, 15% and 16% combined total. The map on the right illustrates that there is moderate congestion along the FM 76 corridor as traffic approaches the intersections of FM 76 with FM 1281, FM 1110, and Fabens Road during the peak afternoon hour. The feasibility study also estimated future traffic conditions in 2045 using projected population growth rates for the study area. This analysis helps determine the FM 76 capacity to meet future traffic demand by establishing the estimated level of service during peak hours. This analysis tracks how efficiently traffic volume is moved through intersections during the hours of the day when traffic volume on roads is projected to be at its highest. The map on the left shows the future level of service for stop sign controlled intersections during the peak morning hour, while the map on the right shows the future level of service for traffic signal controlled intersections during the peak morning hour. As in previous slides, note that stop controlled measures are on the crossroads and not located on FM 76. The 2045 intersection analysis indicates that all stop controlled intersections between FM 1281 Horizon Boulevard and FM 1110 Clint San Elizario are projected to operate with a level of service F due to excessive delays and traffic queues during the peak morning hour, while the following signalized intersections in the study limits are forecasted to operate at a level of service E or F with excessive delays: FM 76 and FM 1281, FM 76 and Bauman Road, FM 76 and Clint Cutoff Road, FM 76 and FM 1110. The remaining intersections in Fabens are expected to operate at a level of service C or better. The map on the left shows the future level of service for stop sign controlled intersections during the peak afternoon hour, while the map on the right shows the future level of service for traffic signal controlled intersections during the peak afternoon hour. The 2045 intersection analysis indicates that the majority of stop controlled intersections between FM 1281, Horizon Boulevard, and FM 1110, Clint San Elizario, are projected to operate with a level of service F due to excessive delays and traffic queues during the peak afternoon hour, while the following signalized intersections in the study limits are forecasted to operate at a level of service F with excessive delays: FM 76 and FM 1281, FM 76 and Bauman Road, FM 76 and Clint Cutoff Road. The remaining intersections in Fabens are expected to operate at a level of C or better. As part of the feasibility study process, environmental constraints were identified along the study corridor that will be taken into consideration during the development of the preliminary improvement options and conceptual alternatives phases of the study. The Environmental Constraints Map panel shows existing conditions with the Environmental Constraints Study Area based on various sources of information. This boundary indicates a study area and is not proposed roadway right-of-way. As you can see on the maps, different color coding is used to detail land use, and markers identify wells and other features. For example, parcels shown in orange are commercial, and parcels shown in yellow are residential. Other markers, such as the light blue dots, show the locations of groundwater wells, and the purple squares show the locations of places of worship. Within the more developed sections, most of the land use consists of residential and commercial uses, whereas in the rural areas, the land use mostly consists of orchard and agricultural land uses. These details will help shape the proposed conceptual alternatives as the study develops, with the goal of avoiding and minimizing impacts to the human and natural environment. The feasibility study is also soliciting input through ongoing stakeholder engagement. Study stakeholders include local, county, and regional governments, as well as state and federal representatives, privately owned businesses, and utilities. During the feasibility study's first stakeholder meeting, stakeholders were invited to share their input about what they thought made a feasibility study successful. Their input was summarized in this wisdom wheel. Stakeholders highlighted the importance of having a vision, commitment, coordination, and transparency through public outreach and engagement, among other things. During a second stakeholder meeting, stakeholders were asked to indicate the topics that interested them most in relation to the study corridor. The 6 topics that interested stakeholders the most included pavement conditions, drainage and flooding, emergency access, utilities and right-of-way, pedestrians and cycling, and transit. This slide contains an overview of additional stakeholder input on the existing FM 76 study corridor, which was collected during the feasibility study's second stakeholder meeting. Stakeholders were asked to share how they use the study corridor as well as the purpose of their trips. Stakeholders stated that they use the FM 76 corridor for daily commutes to and from work, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., grocery retail shopping around 7 p.m., entertainment on weekends, and to visit family and friends. Stakeholders were also asked to share what they observe when they are traveling through the FM 76 corridor. Stakeholders indicated that they observed congestion, traffic, newly built communities, vehicle crashes on Bauman Road, and a lack of sidewalks, bike lanes, bus stops, and lighting. They mentioned unsafe traveling conditions for pedestrians as well. Stakeholders also shared their input about the top improvements they would like to see in the study corridor. These include better access to I-10, roadway widening, traffic signals and safety improvements, sidewalks and bicycle trails, lighting and landscaping, and railroad crossing improvements. Comments can be provided during the in-person meeting by filling out a comment card and dropping it in one of the comment boxes. Comments can also be made in person utilizing the tablets available for the interactive comment map. Virtual meeting participants can leave a comment by downloading the comment card from the FM76 North Loop Drive Feasibility Study webpage at www.TxDOT.gov using keyword search FM76 North Loop Drive Feasibility Study or by email at northloopfeasibilitystudy@icf.com. A comment form may also be mailed to the address shown here. Participants can also scan the QR code on this slide to leave a comment on the interactive comment map. Comments must be received or postmarked by Wednesday, March 15th, 2023. Responses to comments received will be available online at www.TxDOT.gov once they have been prepared. November 7th, 2000 was the last deathless day on roadways in Texas. That means for over 22 years, at least one person has died every single day. We all have a part to play to change that. This message is that reminder to end the streak of deaths on Texas highways. We need drivers and passengers to act more responsibly and help us reach our goal of 0 deaths by 2050. Texans can play a major role in ending fatal crashes with a few simple driving habits. Wear seat belts. Drive the speed limit. Put away the phone and other distractions, and never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs. So please do your part and share this message with your friends and family.